Well, it's the first video of 2026, and already we're looking at the escalation that's occurred just here in the first week, looking at the escalation that's occurred on the world stage down in Venezuela, as well as the escalation that's been occurring with these ICE raids, most notably the recent shooting that just happened in Minnesota. Again, it's only been 1 week here in 2026. Already there's a lot going on, so we're just gonna dive right into it. But first, hey guys, if you like the vibe, definitely like and subscribe. If you need any protest music to help you get through this new year, as well as to just cope with all the bullshit that's already been happening, definitely check out some of our other videos. We are reviewing exclusively protest music, revolutionary music, political music, looking at the lyrics to see how they pertain, basically to this culture of resistance that composes the wall behind me. Anyways, back to the bullshit. So as a way of alleviating the cost of living crisis that Americans are living through, as well as totally not distracting from the Epstein files, Trump and his regime have decided to do some regime change down in Venezuela. Yes, the Prince of Peace is at it again, the guy that wanted that Nobel Peace Prize for ending 7 or 8 or 12 wars. Approved the capture of a world leader, and now he has just removed Nicolas Maduro, the former, now I guess, president of Venezuela. And again guys, as many people have noted, Nicolas Maduro is not exactly the good guy in this story. Yes, you can find videos and photos of Venezuelans cheering at his demise, but literally, what is this all for? We were bombing boats because they were said to be drug boats because of all the fentanyl, allegedly, that was going from Venezuela to the US, even though a very small percentage, if any, actually comes from Venezuela. Propaganda point number 1. But again, we've bombed another country and we've captured their leader. For what? Whose interest is this in? Literally, they are telling us themselves, Trump and his fucking people have said repeatedly that this is for the oil. So I guess when Eminem wrote the song Mosh and he said the lyrics, "No more blood for oil, we got our own battles to fight on our own soil," really what he was saying, just a few more wars for oil, and who cares about the battles that we have to fight on our own soil? That's probably what he meant. Propaganda point number 2 would be the justification used for going in, capturing Maduro, and just doing the whole regime change in the first place. Because normally this shit's at least under the guise of spreading freedom and democracy, with the meme being, hey, you got oil, here comes the bald eagle. But now he's literally just admitting time and time again, no, this was done for the oil companies. We want to extract their oil. In fact, he didn't even tell the Democrats before the strike, but he did tell the oil companies. What the fuck? And the most outrageous thing about the whole operation is the day that it actually took place. Not only does it mirror the same date as when we went after Manuel Noriega in Panama, but also this same date was the same fucking date that the Justice Department was congressionally obligated to release more Epstein files. And now the news cycle is just completely overtaken with Venezuela and now even the ICE incident that we will get to in a moment. But I mean, talk about distraction seeking, and they totally fucking got it. And of course, the weirdest thing is just seeing people actually run defense for this fucking operation. Because again, no, Nicolas Maduro is not the good guy, but the fact that we are running the country, Trump says, without any plan to do it, it's like, is this country going to be destabilized? Is this going to lead to an increase of migrants heading towards the US? Which I think Kristi Noem may have already said that they can now apply for asylum, which is even fucking more hilarious. And again, the way people justify it, there's even a fucking pastor, his name is Hank Kuhnman, I guess, where he's actually preaching about this oil belongs to the Lord. We took this oil away from the bad guys, and now we can use it for our righteous Lord because Jesus Christ would want us to have that oil. What the fuck, guys? What the fuck? Now, of course, the worst thing about this is not the operation itself, but it's the precedent that it sets for really other countries like America's near peers, China, India, Russia, because if America, who used to be against things like this, at least on paper, when it was not in our interest, because if America, being the dominant military superpower that it is, if it can just do anything in its own backyard, in its own sphere of influence, aka Central and South America, then it might inspire other countries like China, India, and Russia to do the same thing in their backyards, because it's like, fuck it, why not? If we are reverting back to the law of the jungle instead of anything even remotely resembling international law, whatever the fuck that means at this point. And of course, Russia was already doing this with Ukraine with their special military operation that was supposed to take just about 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And now here we are almost 4 years later, so it almost incentivizes larger, stronger countries to actually take a more active role in obtaining territory, maybe taking out people that they don't like, maybe performing their own regime change, or their own special military operation. And what does that say for the smaller countries, the ones that might be at risk of invasion or having their leaders taken out? And we already kind of saw this with Ukraine, but if countries are given security guarantees, but then nobody's abiding by them, then really the only thing that stops a smaller power from being invaded is the possession of nuclear weapons. And of course, that doesn't make the world safer for anybody. Also, back to the whole drug trafficking charges that we're putting on Maduro. Realistically, of course, this is all just fucking bullshit, because Trump himself pardoned the former president of Honduras, Hernandez, who supported the drug cartels and was literally convicted of peddling drugs into the United States. Jesus fucking Christ. Just think about the oil. So will this lead to destabilization in the country? We're not sure yet. Maybe. We do know for sure that the opposition leader is probably not going to be the one that gets installed, because she is the one that actually did win the Nobel Peace Prize that Trump so desperately wanted. So of course he's just salty as fuck. So that will not be the play for Venezuela. And now of course with this Don Road doctrine, which is just so fucking stupid, Trump will be looking at ways to populate said doctrine, looking at Cuba, looking at Colombia, maybe even Mexico, and we can't forget fucking Greenland. Things that make you go, fuck! Now, of course, that's not the only escalation that's happened here in just the first week of 2026. We now have a situation where ICE has now officially removed an American citizen from their life. Really not sure what I can say and can't say on YouTube, which is pretty dumb in of itself. But it will never cease to amaze me how many people can watch the same video and see something so completely different. Whether it's the George Floyd case or now this case with Renee Good, who was the woman that was shot by the ICE agent, and the ICE agent claimed that she almost ran him over with the car, despite the fact that literally everyone has seen the footage now, probably. I'm shooting this the day after that happened, so there's probably a lot that's happened afterward, but also adding this in real super quick, so since that initial recording, more footage has been released and we actually see things from the perspective of that ICE agent, really just confirming what we already know, but it does confirm a lot more. For instance, it shows that she was clearly not the agitator that she has been painted out to be. She even waves on some agents, and the last thing she said to that ICE agent was actually not confrontational in the slightest, and now we know that after he did those 3 shots to the face, that he called her a fucking bitch. So that's great. Plus, you know, of course, he just kind of walks in front of the car, putting himself in harm's way. But what makes it even worse, again, is the reaction from the administration, where now you have JD Vance saying that maybe they just need to go door to door for these ICE raids. Plus, you have footage of another ICE officer, like the same day or the day after, talking to another protester saying, "Didn't you learn your lesson from the other day?" Basically threatening them. And the administration says that ICE has full immunity from whatever they do. So, of course, now it's like, they just have free reign is what they would like. So yeah, anyways, back to the initial video. It's the way that this administration is handling this that is just so absolutely disgusting. Not only do we have the tragic loss of an American life by US federal officials, where you have Donald Trump, JD Vance, and Kristi Noem all saying the same thing, that this woman who was fatally shot, that she was some kind of far-left activist, that she was a part of some kind of criminal left-wing group, and that she of course tried to violently take out these ICE agents who were just doing their job. And Jesse Wells actually already put out a song, because of course he did, but the song is called Good versus ICE, And the point that he makes right off the rip is that I've had more dangerous interactions in a Walmart parking lot than that ICE agent had in front of that car. And the worst thing about it all is that they keep using this term domestic terrorism, and so many people are falling for that. Like, you can't tell me that if that woman really wanted to run over some ICE agents, that was the outcome, that was her actual full attempt, backing her car up, turning the wheels to the point that by the time the guy actually put his weapon in her window and fired, that the car was leaving on the trajectory that it was already on, fully turned away. And that officer apparently said that he feared for his life, like he almost didn't make it out alive. And literally, what a fucking cover up, because now the FBI has even stopped their investigation into this incident. Like, they just straight up said that they are not going to be investigating this. The same FBI that's covering up, again, the Epstein files. And I know a lot of people have already said this, but I'm gonna emphasize it again, that this is just like that George Orwell quote from 1984, where it says, my furnace is kicking on, because it is so important to these current times, especially with this incident. And the quote goes, "The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command." Because that is where we are now. We can reject the reality, but we cannot reject the consequences of ignoring reality. I know that's an Ayn Rand quote as well, kind of funny back to back, but still. And speaking of very important things, while there's not a whole lot an individual can do, there is a lot that we can do collectively. We can keep applying pressure, we can keep demanding accountability, we can vote, we can organize, we can use our voice while we can, while we are still breathing, and do what we can to make the change. Now, when it comes to protest music, again, there is that Jesse Wells song, Good vs. Ice. Highly recommend, I'll try to link it down below, but there are a few other songs that are still very relevant to both of these topics, really, both Venezuela and the ICE incident. Two of them actually come from Makala off of his album, Knowledge is Power Volume 2. The first one, titled Murder Runs the Globe, is all about basically what it's like to be a country that, again, doesn't really care about international law. It doesn't really care about what their people think, what other people think. It's going to do what it wants, not just for the territory, not just for the money, but again, it's murder that runs the globe. It's kind of the might makes right argument. But again, it's a solid song. Definitely go check it out, as well as the song that comes up right after it on that album, titled Urge to Remove People, I guess. I know I already said the other title, but I don't want to say this one. But one of the best lines from that song, the urge to remove, I guess, is that state murder is still murder, and there's no flag big enough to conceal murder. Again, great song, especially if you're feeling kind of antsy about the whole situation, like you have all this pent-up energy that needs an outlet. Music can be a great outlet, and I highly recommend these songs for that purpose, as well as another song that we will actually be reviewing next week, I think, coming from the artist Bamboo. That was another viewer recommendation off of his newest album, They're Burning the Boats. The song I'm going to recommend from that album is actually the last one, titled It's Happening Now, because I think the closing monologue on that track is basically exactly what we are witnessing when it comes to that ICE incident. He says that he doesn't condone violence, he doesn't say that we need to act violent, but at the same time, he's not going to tell people the actions they need to take in order to get themselves free. As well as so many other great points. The whole album is actually really good. Again, we will review that next week. Also, another song that I'm adding in, Terrorist by Low Key, is a fantastic song that again plays on the concept of terrorism, domestic terrorism, and using that word, using propaganda to smear entire swaths of a population. Really, that song is talking about Muslims and how the United States government, again through propaganda, labeled anyone a terrorist, and that's how they justified a whole lot of action on the executive end. Just like they are using this here to justify a lot of government overreach, executive overreach. So yeah, go listen to that song by Low Key as well. Cool, thanks. But until then, guys, that's about all I got for now. Let me know what you think about all of this bullshit in the comments down below. Let me know if you have any recommendations for the wall behind me, and just let me know what you're doing to both keep yourself sane in these trying times and what we can do to actually make a positive change on the world. Again, kind of a downer for 2026, but we got to keep going. We got to stay present and we need to stay active. So again, let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you like the vibe. Definitely check out some of those other reviews for more protest music, and check out some of our other videos, I guess. So until then, guys, stay well, stay safe, stay informed, and we will see you on the next one. Later.